Today we're talking about Google Maps Engine and how you can get your data into it with FME.
Yes. So we're pretty excited about this. It's one of two major cloud mapping platforms that we're supporting in FME 2014. ArcGIS Online being the other one, but today we're talking about GME.
Yes.
Actually, we're not supposed to say GME. We'll call it Google Maps Engine.
It's Maps Engine.
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
So let's through my slides here. Oh,
there we go. So yeah, we didn't introduce ourselves.
Yeah.
I'm Dale Lutz. I'm one of the co-founders of SAFE.
And I'm Iris Katowski, and I'm a product support specialist working with our support team here at SAFE.
Okay. So today we're going to do a little bit of intro, then we're going to do some demos. We're going to talk about a couple of case studies where people have been using FME already.
Yep. And
then Iris has a whole pile of demos she's going to walk through.
Yeah, there's a bunch of demos, so if you like demos, stay tuned.
Yeah, you're in for the right one. Okay, let's go to the next one.
All right. We're going to start this up with a poll.
Yes, so normally I do that. So let me see, where are the polls? Here's the polls.
Are you using FME with Google Maps Engine?
Right.
Do you want to launch that?
Sure, here we go.
So
right, so there's 5 choices there. You can you use FME but not Google Maps Engine. You use the other way around. You use them both but not together. And you use them together and you don't use anything. And if you don't use anything, well then, hey, thanks so much for tuning in. We hope you'll learn a few interesting things today about what the combination of these two technologies can do for you. So we're just going to let a few more folks vote. And let's see, we've got a pretty good turnout there.
Okay, a lot of people new to Maps Engine, existing FME users. We've got a fair chunk here that are saying that they don't use either right now, so that's great.
Yes. So let's share the results. So a full third of the people don't use either. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. We hope that you learn a lot of interesting stuff today. And of course, 40% that are FMEers that don't use Google Maps Engine. And wow, 13% that actually are Google Maps Engine users that don't yet use FME. So they are finding their data, getting their data in there another way. And anyway, that's great. So we'll continue on with the show.
All right.
So just a few words about SAFE. We're about a 20-year-old company, which means the founders are getting a bit gray. But about 100 and some folks, there's 100 and some staff here. And about 20 years ago, we invented this thing we called Feature Manipulation Engine, which now everybody knows as FME. And that thing has continued to grow to end up supporting today about 325 different formats.
Oh.
Yeah. And so today, while we're on, we have a number of our other staff standing by waiting. So we've got Mark Stokes and Laura Kersons, who were both on World Tour last week.
Yes, they were both traveling. I was actually traveling around with Mark, and I think Laura was on your team.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, and Laura gave a part of the talk that we're going to give right now.
Yes.
So that's great. So anyway, please don't be afraid to ask lots of questions as we're going along.
All right.
So yeah, if you are brand new to FME, and 30% of you are, then we would recommend that you tune into a webinar that we have that comes up every week. There's a weekly intro webinar that goes into the basics of how FME works. As well, there's a webpage called Getting Started, which has links to some videos and things. We're actually, with this many people that are new to FME, we may want to, when you're doing the demos, we'll slow it down a little bit at the very beginning to give a bit of an intro. But in short, FME lets you take data from wherever it is, rearrange it, and write it to somewhere. And once you've got that configuration, that transformation set up, you can automate that to run many times. Which brings us to our sort of theme of our product, the 3 words that we use. We connect things, we transform the data as it's moving, and then we allow you to automate that afterwards. And especially with something like Google Maps Engine, it's going to be a common scenario where people are going to want to set something up and then run it every night unattended.
Yes.
And certainly the ones that you're involved in so far.
Yes, it's a very common workflow.
Yes.
Yes. All right. So
I guess I didn't mention that FME runs both on the desktop as well as it has a server, which is where those automated things typically run.
Yeah.
So you take the workflows you do on the desktop can, of course, be run there, and if it's one-offs or just ad hoc things, that's absolutely fine. You can even use Windows Scheduler to kind of do a little bit of automation on the desktop and run batch files. But then if you want to get more serious about the automation, you put it up on something called FME Server, which you run inside your organization, which can run hands-free, watch for changes in your environment, take action. And then lastly, if you want to do that automation but have it cloud-based, then you can use FME in the cloud using something called FME Cloud, which is pay by the hour. So if you go to fmecloud.com, you can read about that. But anyway, that's just a bit of an overview of our products. Again, I was mentioning earlier, 325 different formats supported by FME. Google Maps Engine is one of them.
Yes.
And you're going to use it as both an endpoint and a starting point.
Yes. Yes, today, because we can both read data from it and write data into it.
Right. Okay.
And also, we just saw a question pop up. You'll like this one, Dale. Does it run on Mac?
Yes, it does. It does run on the Mac. We would say that now, if you want to try it on the Mac, we'd give you a half-year license for free. But actually, Iris and I, not Iris, but Laura actually did all of her runs on the Mac on the world tour. And we even had one customer go up and give his presentation, having never run his workspace on a Mac before, hit the run button, much to my kind of shock, because we're still working through the kinks. It's only appeared on the Mac about 6 months ago. But normally FME runs on Windows 32 and 64. Anyway, it worked just fine for that customer.
Yeah, that's great.
All right.
All right. So what is Google Maps Engine?
Tell us.
So this is an exciting new platform from Google. It's a cloud platform that allows you to store your spatial data in the Google Cloud, as well as to create styled layers and maps from your data that you can either share internally or share publicly. So it's a really great way to get your information up in the cloud and accessible to other users.
Yes. And so Google Maps Engine really, and the next slide is going to show this, I've heard, you can use it to upload data to create custom web maps. So there's some success stories from people like FedEx. You can share that data either to your friends internally or to the general public. And of course, it also is possible, if you've shared it publicly, that the Google search crawler will find it.
Yeah, so maybe we can also think of this as a Google Drive for maps, right? It's a way to make your maps, you put them in the cloud and share them with others in your organization, just like you'd share any other document, just like you'd share a spreadsheet or a presentation with your colleagues. You now share your maps that way.
Today it is not structured that way, and I have no idea if it will be in the future, but it seems logical that it might be. That you can, at least the way that the model works is very much like if you use Google Documents, Google Spreadsheets, very, very similar, where you could upload and then share with a few friends or make things totally public. Now, it's really important to be aware of something else in this technology stack that Google's made, and that's called Google Maps Gallery. And really, it is a collection of maps that have been aggregated and made searchable across Google of either historical things or educational things or even civic things that are meant to be shared publicly that Google's search engine can then crawl. And that's really what Google Maps Gallery is all about. As Jordan, the product manager really for Google Maps Gallery, has said, he's really trying to make YouTube for maps. And so that is what you can think of it as, that you get a map up there and then you can see other related maps, you can rate them, you can talk about them, and so on.
Yes. And so here's a screen grab of the Maps Gallery interface, and maybe I think next pretty soon we're going to be launching in and showing you from the browser 2 examples of a Maps Gallery portal that have been set up by some of our customers here we've been working with at SAFE.
So actually, when people get this slide deck, I did hyperlink the top thing. That will drive to the blog where Jordan announces it for the first time. So really, Jordan goes through and describes what it all is all about. So if you haven't heard of Google Maps Gallery, you can just search for introducing Google Maps Gallery, and that will find you this page, and you can see what the vision is for this. Okay, so let's go back we go.
Back into the deck here. Get a little lost out of here.
There we go.
So now we're going to jump into a user story from the city of San Jose, and they were one of the really early adopters of this technology. A few people there were working using FME to get their data from the planning, building, and code enforcement department into Google Maps Engine. So probably the best place to start is to jump in and take a look at their Maps Engine portal. So I'm just going to search for Maps Gallery San Jose.
In all uppercase.
Yeah, I've got caps on, so hopefully that shouldn't throw things off too much.
Hey, I'm watching you type now.
Okay,
there we go, we caught up.
So we found it here. Here's the City of San Jose's Maps Gallery portal. And these are some data sets that they uploaded with FME and then styled in Google Maps Engine and used to create these maps here. And there's a few interesting stories, particularly this permitting one has really been a good success for them. And what this data is, it's data of permits that have been granted for construction work by the city. And they've now taken this is originally just sitting on internal databases in their system. And what they've done is they've set up an FME workflow, which I think I have a screen. I can just quickly show you their workflow. They've set up an FME workflow to read this data out of various databases. They've got different types of permits, so they're reading from different types of databases here. And they're reading out from these databases, doing a little bit of data cleanup, which FME is great for, repairing your attributes, reformatting them.
Yeah, so we can just talk through the things on the left-hand side in this workspace, these gray, or whatever, what color is that? It's not gray.
They're tan, I'd say tan.
I only know really red, green, and blue. But those things are the tables in the source data. In this case, it's Oracle. Yeah,
so this is an Oracle table that they would have that has some details on their permits.
Yep, and then they're going into an attribute trimmer. They're basically, that would be that blue thing is what we call a transformer, and it would be removing excess spaces.
White space at the end of characters,
right.
Just kind of a data cleanup.
Right, and then they're rounding off the coordinates. That's another data cleanup-y kind of thing.
And mapping up null values.
What can be more fun than that?
Yeah, and this is a shout out to improved null support in FME. We've got this new null attribute mapper transformer.
Just out of curiosity, let's open it up. There, anything that was null in database, they basically knocking it out. They're removing that for some reason. Oh, because then they want to do change detection.
Yeah, so
I see.
You can knock out nulls there. So if you're dealing with nulls, it's a great transformer to check out.
Now we're change detecting.
So here what they're doing, I'll touch on this a bit more in one of the other examples. The change detector is a great way to find features that have been modified so that you can detect only the modifications and send only that over into Maps Engine, because a lot of the time cost when writing to a cloud format is sending data over the internet, right? So any way you can reduce that really will speed up your processes. So this is a way to limit the features you send over.
Right, so what they're really doing, these two different streams came from different places, and in FME these lines represent the flow of individual records, and ultimately those records are being piled in one case a pile of the original records, another case a pile of the revised or changed ones, and now the change detector is going to look at all that mess of those two piles and sort it all out, and look at, we're throwing away the unchanged guys, have a yellow port by them with no connection. They're being thrown away. If you weren't changed, we don't care about you. But the adds and the deletes are being pushed forward.
Yes. And kind of zoom out. Ooh, somebody asked for a full screen view. As we can see, there's quite a bit going on here because they've got multiple different tables. But they've got similar workflows for multiple different sources. So this is what they're using to sync up their database data with this permitting
yes.
table in Maps Engine. And if we just go back to that.
I actually saw that our friends from San Jose are online. We should have had them. We could have put them on the spot. Vicky and Harsh, we could have put you on the spot.
Yes.
But anyway, thanks so much for tuning in today. We hope we're doing justice to the workflow that you've got. Anyway, this is the results of that whole thing.
Yes. So this is the results. So what's great about this is this has been really useful to local contractors in the area, because they can come into this page and see where new permits have been issued, and they can use it to find potential work.
Yes.
And the other great thing here is that by adding in a hyperlink, they're able to link to their permits page. So if we just click here on one of these permits.
So they formatted that somehow with FME on the way by.
Yes. So they're hooking up to their permitting page. I'm a little bit slow here to open this.
So somebody asked what the output format was. The output format is Google Maps Engine. It is writing directly into Google Maps Engine when they run that workspace.
All right. A little bit of a lag on the permit here.
I don't know. I think it's not working.
Try it. No?
Oh, there it is.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Your persistence is rewarded.
Yes. So here's a link to the permit. So somebody can take a look at one of those points there, and they can see exactly what's going on, what kind of permit's been granted. And again, this is proven to have been really useful to local businesses looking for contracts.
So direct link to their permits site. So that's just one example, and somewhere in that workflow we would be able to find the place where they format that hyperlink.
Yes.
So, okay. So anything else from our San Jose friends that we want to show?
They've got some other tables in here. And one that's been really popular, I think, was mentioned was the land use and zoning.
It's had 12 ratings.
Yes, it's actually had quite a few views. And the reason here is before, if you wanted to look for the zoning in a given location, you'd probably, this data was available. It was, I think, served up on shapefile form on one of the San Jose web pages. But you'd kind of need like a GIS tool to download something like this and to figure out what zone an area you are interested in. And the great thing about this now is you can just type in your address, and now you can check and see what zone you'd fall under, whether you're commercial or medium to high density residential. So this is a great way for people to check prospective properties, what zone they're in. So it really is, it's been a very useful one as well.
I should ask our friends from Surrey to do the same thing. It would be curious to see where SAFE is located, what we're actually zoned for.
What is our zone? And so many people don't know. So
right.
That's one of the things that they have found that people really like is the ability to look up some of these things that they didn't know before. Another one that's interesting is some people don't actually know whether they fall within the city limit or not.
Okay.
And that's because as cities grow, this is common in a lot of cities, they annex new areas. And sometimes there can be little pockets that have yet to been annexed. So you could actually be living somewhere, you'd think you'd be smack dab in the middle of San Jose, and you're not actually within the city.
You're really in Swaziland.
Yeah, so so this has been really useful to residents to figure out what municipality they fall under. So a lot of people have found this table very useful.
Right.
And similarly for zoning districts, and there's voting districts as well. So these are really great for getting this information out to people. Again, it was out there before, but I mean, it's typically in a GIS format, and if you don't have access to the a GIS tool, it may have been difficult for you to get at this information and make sense of it. So
if you go into one of these, Iris, is it possible to turn Street View on?
Yeah,
you should be able to, because it's normal Google Maps. Somebody's asked that. Let's see.
Let's see.
You'd have to zoom way in there.
I do not see. I'm in the.
We'll have to wait to find out.
I'll have to ask about that.
I know you can open it in Google Earth from in here.
Yes.
But maybe you'd have to go way down in there and then be able to see.
View in Google Earth.
Yeah.
As well.
Right. Anyway, yeah.
Download. But maybe we can.
We'll get back to you on that. Okay.
Right.
So.
That's the city of San Jose.
And so they're running FME with their own FME that's in-house, I think, to do this. Yep.
Yeah.
Because they're a long-time customer of ours. So anyway, thanks very much, City of San Jose friends, for sharing your story with us this morning. I think the other one I wanted to quickly look at was the City of Edmonton.
City of Edmonton also used FME to put together a Maps Gallery portal. And here's theirs. We can see they've got quite a few different data sets up. And an interesting story here is that they were actually set up a workflow to scrape a Socrata portal. So we helped them develop a workflow to sync up their Socrata portal, which they had, with the Google Maps engine. And we got all of their data from there into Maps engine. And you see they've got quite a few data sets up here. And if you're interested in syncing up a large scale sync from Socrata or another format, please get in touch with us because we can help you out with some workspaces for that.
Yeah. So I think that's probably the main thing. I know my uncle lives in Edmonton, and he went and actually verified the tree species.
The tree species. Oh, he ground-truthed it.
he ground-truthed it in his own neighborhood, wherever he lives. He went out and checked a couple of them, and it is true. So it is really telling the truth.
Yeah.
So there we have evidence of that. And he actually said that he wasn't going to shovel his walk because he wanted to be in the bylaw and fractions page.
Yes, there is a bylaw and fractions. I think we did an earlier demo where we showed the bylaw and fractions.
Yes. So anyway, there you go. You could get your 15 minutes of fame by appearing on a civic bylaw and fractions page. So, let's go on to.
Let's go back to this PowerPoint here. And
so yeah, we talked about San Jose, and that's their gallery. We talked about the City of Edmonton and the fact that they are starting in Socrata.
Yes.
So they use, I don't know if they're sure if they use FME, but some organizations use FME to go from their own databases to Socrata. And then we can use FME to read Socrata and go to, in this case, Google Maps engine, and only applying the updates.
Yes.
And that was the fine work that Iris did to make that all work.
All right. And here's the Edmonton portal again.
Yeah,
Again,
there's a whole bunch. The way this is ripped off at the bottom.
Yeah, they have 82. I think
82 tables, yeah.
82 tables in there. And all these are publicly accessible, so you can go check them out.
So anyway, thanks City of Edmonton as well.
Yes.
So with that kind of as a background, let's go out to the polls quickly and ask the question, what would you like to do if you kind of think about the environment you live in? You can choose more than one of these. What are the kinds of things you might want to do with the data you've got and this tool called FME, which would let you read and write things? If you could do anything at all, what is it that you would want to do? And so we'll just watch as a few more people get their answers in. So the choices, of course, read stuff that's in Maps Engine and put it out to something else.
Yeah.
So basically harvest the things that are in there, in either the public things or your own. Write, so upload things from your own. Update, so in other words, you've got stuff that you've put in Google Maps Engine and you want to change it slightly. Yeah, we can make that very trivial for you. Publish stuff to Maps Gallery. Yeah. That would be if you're a municipality or somebody that wants to do public kinds of things. And lastly, and this is sort of the dark horse one, you can actually use the Google Maps Engine loader to take stuff that isn't spatial and make it spatial.
Yes.
Are you going to show us that?
Yep, we'll have that's coming up in our demos.
Okay. So I'm going to stop the polling there. You'll just give you a couple seconds to get your last answers in. All right, I'm going to declare that that's good. And so now we'll take a look at that. And so of them all, reading is the lowest, but there's still lots of people want to do that. Oh, no, it isn't. Sorry, geocoding is the lowest. But actually, a third of you would like to do that. Yep. Maps Gallery, very, very popular. Jordan will be very happy to see that.
Yes, certainly.
And of course, loading being the main one. And actually, at least half the people want to update. Yep. So that's really good too.
Okay, so our demos are.
The demos await.
Going to be relevant, then that's great.
Yeah. So with that in mind, I guess that really validates all of the demos that you had planned.
Yes. Yes, it does. That's great.
Yes, so if you are joined us late, don't be afraid to ask questions at any time. And yes, every word we say is being recorded and will be used against us later on. But with that, Iris, that sort of warning, are you going to take us out to a full workbench here? And
let's go into demos. So actually, the first one we're going to be reading. So maybe I'll just start from scratch on this one. Most of the other ones will be diving in. But I just want to show you how you can use FME to read from Google Maps Engine. So what I've done here is I've chosen to add a new reader. And this is going to allow me to read in my Google Maps Engine tables. So I'm going to start typing in here. I'm just going to start typing Google, and we see it pops right up here, Google Maps Engine tables. And this is what you want to read your data out of GME. And the first option here is the server connection, and we have a refresh token button. And when I actually click here, what I can do is I'm launched into this OAuth window. So I'm just going to enter my Gmail account.
And we'll just watch your password carefully.
Yep.
You did change it in the last couple of days, I bet. Did you?
Yeah, of course. That terrible heart bleed everywhere.
Everybody learned how to change their password in the last couple of days. Look at she can't remember what it is. Okay.
Ooh, I just
That's a hard thing when you got a brand new password.
Yep. All right, so now we're asking permission, just in accordance with OAuth. Yes. We're going to ask permission to manage your data and Maps Engine data, and I'll just grant that to FME. And we see once we've done that, we're populated with a refresh token here, and I think this lasts for a few months. And this token is what's going to be used to authenticate your request to Maps Engine. So once you have it there, a handy tip if you're doing a lot of writing, save your token in your defaults, and then you won't have to go in there every time and re-enter your password.
So now you're going to go and find out the project we're going to work in, because Google Maps Engine has this concept of projects, which is like a group of tables. So you are quite prolific.
A few. Yeah, I've got quite a few. But yeah, it's a great way to organize your data. So I'm going to choose the project that I want. And now I'm going to choose from the tables available. I don't have very many because this is kind of my demo project. But I've got parcels and park boundaries.
Complaints is in uppercase. Let's not go.
Complaints. Oh yes.
I don't want to deal with complaints.
Yeah,
it's too early.
That's coming up later.
Oh no, really?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yes.
Okay. Wow. All right. So you're going to read a couple of things.
All right. So I'm going to read in some tables.
And FME does its magical work.
So we see it sending.
Lots of things happening. Ah, there we got two nice things.
So these are the tables I've got in there. So there's not too much information on these. On the parcels, we've got some basic parcel information.
Okay.
And let's just send them. In FME, we also have a basic visualization tool. So if I right-click, send to the inspector, the first thing I can do is just kind of take a look at this data.
Okay. Because often you want to know what you're working with. And
Yes.
so this will let us, it can let us inspect what's going on before, after, and during a translation. So what do you got here?
So I've got some parcels
wow.
and some parks.
And there's a background map.
Yes, and I think this is data from the in the city of Austin. We've kind of initially I was just there, but sorry.
Let's go ahead and maximize this whole window.
Yes.
Go ahead and maximize that area. No, this guy.
Oh yes, okay.
There we go. So
And
the folks there we go, folks at home. You should be able to see. And so you get it. Basically, we can see our data, and that we can overlay this on top of either an ArcGIS Online background map. This looks like it's MapQuest.
Yeah.
We can do Mapbox, a few other things as the background.
And we see here we can view this as parcel data from Austin.
Right. So you read it. Yeah, right. We've read it from Google Maps Engine. We've got it locally. Now you could go and output it to a shapefile. Or what would you? Did you have something in mind?
We could output it to say CAD because that's a common.
Okay. Yeah. Let's go to what, AutoCAD or?
Yes. So we can. I'll just show you how easy it is to write an AutoCAD file. So let's just choose AutoCAD here.
DWG.
Yeah. Let's do that one.
Okay.
And I'll just choose an output location and go back into my demos folder here.
Somebody's asking while Iris is working, can we work on raster data? Right today we can upload raster data, and we have top people working on the reading. So the reading of raster data will come very quickly. So raster will be a full citizen of this whole workflow.
So I'm just going to write into an AutoCAD file here. So I should have a writer. So actually, it's prompting me, do I want to add a new feature type or essentially a new layer
Table
for
or
audit?
layer, yeah.
And I'm just going to say no here.
Ooh,
because I have a handy trick here. And what I like to do, a really great trick in FME, is to just right-click, duplicate on writer. And this just essentially mirrors your reader format, your reader structure right over into the writer. Actually, it probably doesn't matter so much in AutoCAD.
Are you going to duplicate the same on the park boundaries?
Yes, we can do that as well.
Okay.
So let's do that.
So this is a bit more of an intro FME demo. So we got two things going, and we could go in there and modify layer styles and set a template file and all that kind of fun stuff. But you're just going to go ahead and run this, having never rehearsed this, I don't think. Did you rehearse this?
I think I did rehearse this briefly, but this is still still living on the edge here.
It tells us we can see the lines updated with the counts.
Yep.
So that's looking good. And I can tell that my Dropbox was updated with your thing.
So that's
actually, why don't you show that other trick where you right-click and say Reveal in Finder?
Oh, okay.
Not Reveal in Finder. Sorry, on my Macintosh.
Open containing folder?
Yes.
Yes. Still have folders in the window.
Oh, okay, there she did it. Which one is it? The live one?
The live one. So
it's more data than before.
It's more data. So you right-click on that, and it opens up the data in the FME inspector.
Oops, you didn't right-click. You double-clicked.
I double-clicked. Okay.
We really want to translate it again.
All
but
right,
no, if you right-click.
And we can open with inspect with data inspector.
Yes, there we go.
And we see looks like an AutoCAD file. And there we go. So now our data has been converted into a CAD format, and now this is something that you could open up in AutoCAD, make edits to,
yes,
and work with there.
Now, of course, we did absolutely zero trying to style it up. Just to humor the folks at home, can you click on that line there and type a styler and see what kind of styler
we've got a few now.
There's a DWG styler.
And there's a precursor of what's to come.
Yes.
Google Maps Engine styler.
Right. So if you double click that thing, and now you bring this up, this is where we could start fiddling around with, open up, say, the lines, and we could start fiddling with the line styles and types and blah, 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 blah. So anyway, folks get the idea how you can make the CAD file exactly the way you want it.
Yes.
All right. So that's enough tormenting you with some off-roading.
Yep. All right.
So what were we actually going to show, or did we show it?
I actually had a slightly different workflow, but I think that's as good as any. That one was meant to be the start from scratch.
The softball warm-up one?
Yep.
So now we're going to do a basic right.
All right. So now I've got a workspace. I'm just going to start from a pre-set up workspace here. And actually, I'm just going to start with my other workbench. A handy Windows trick here.
All right.
I'm in SP1. I should be.
Iris has a few different FMEs
I gotta make
here.
sure I'm in the right build because some of these features are very new.
Literally, some of the stuff Iris is not yet. The stuff we're showing so far was
this should be okay.
Yes,
so.
But one of the things we're going to show literally got birthed yesterday at about 1 in the afternoon.
Yep.
So we like to live right on the edge. Okay,
all
here
right,
it comes.
I've got it open. All right. All right, so here's an example of writing to GME. So I'm starting with a KML file, and this is some actually manufactured eagle nest data that I threw together.
And if there's smart people out there that'll ask which came first, the eagle or the egg, we've had that asked before during webinars.
Yes.
We don't know.
We don't know, and I don't suggest you go out and try to find these eagles because this is my manufactured data.
We'll find out where they are. So you're going to write these to GME.
I'm going to write them in from KML. So I've got a KML of these eagle nest sightings, and then I'm going to buffer them. So essentially the idea here is I want to get an idea of areas that we might want to preserve where there's eagle nesting areas. So I'm going to buffer them, and then I'm going to take all these different buffers around these nest sites and dissolve them so I don't have any overlapping polygons there.
Yes.
And I'm going to write this result out to Maps Engine. So I'm just going to give this a run right now. There
it goes. So you're doing you're basically fiddling around with the geometry here because you're dissolving things, and then you're writing the final result. And somewhere, probably in the dissolver, have you summed up the number of eggs?
I should have done that. I don't think I did.
Okay.
But that would have been a good tip. You can always do that in FME. And I'll look at my Maps Engine page, and hopefully I have a new data set in here now. So it all went well. Oh, there we go. So we see protected nesting areas. That's the one I just wrote.
Yeah.
And again, here are my.
Okay, and they're just. Oh, I see one that's sort of.
There's some dissolved.
Sort of cigar shaped over there.
Yes, and those are two sites that have been dissolved together.
Right.
Yep. So that's an example of how easy it is to write. And I didn't show setting up the writer, but it's actually even easier than setting up the reader. There you'd authenticate yourself, get a token, and choose a project. So no need to choose a table. The table is actually specified by the name of my feature type. So we see here I've set it up to protected nesting areas, and that was the name of my resulting GME data source.
And you could have fiddled with the user attributes in there and changed them, rearranged their order, whatever.
I could have, yes.
Somebody was asking about order. The order will be whatever's shown on the right-hand side here will be the order.
So I could have reordered them here in this dialog here.
Yeah, if we wanted to. The other thing was, let's just open up the dissolver, because in this scenario it would have made sense in the dissolve, I think under attribute accumulation, attributes to sum.
So we could sum up the number of eggs.
Right, and that would be what you'd want to do if you really were joining them together like we were. So that gives you an idea. Again, the data is flowing from left to right, and you can tell as well we made 4 kind of dissolved areas, right? Because there's 46 came into the dissolver and only 42 came out.
Yes.
So that's what we can tell. Okay, well that's good old-fashioned writing.
Yes, so now we've got a little bit more interesting example. Let's see. So now we've got geocoding. So we said 36% of you were interested in geocoding. So we've got a good example of that now. And I'll just open this guy up.
Let's zoom in case the people are. There we go.
All right. So what I've got here is I'm actually reading from Salesforce, which is a kind of a customer information, cloud-based customer information managing system. So I'm reading a table here of accounts, and this is I think a fake table with just the default accounts that come from Salesforce.
It isn't our actual customers.
Yes, it isn't our. Don't worry, we're not exposing your information publicly.
Let's slide this a bit. Let's
get rid of the navigate.
Oh, there we go. Okay, there we go.
And so we've got all this account information, and it's got addresses. So that's all we need to geocode for a GME. So all you really need to do here. Oops, I keep clicking on that. So all we really need to do here is specify, write that address to a special field called gx_location.
So that's the trick.
And that's all you need to do.
How are you doing it in there? So you got this thing called an attribute creator. Oh.
And I have 2 possible values. I believe I'm doing some, yes. So if it contains a comma, so I think I'm dealing with a case with a pesky comma here. So I've set up a test condition to set this up.
Oh, then it just output. Oh, in case they already basically put all the data in the billing street.
Yes.
Sometimes people have bad data.
Yeah.
So we can do a little test like that, and so if the billing street had a comma, we're just going to leave it alone. Otherwise, you're gluing it together.
Yes. So that'll send my address information to the GX location field that Google Maps Engine knows to pick up and to geocode with.
Was that a format attribute you exposed?
I did expose it here. I don't believe you have to actually.
Right.
But so it is a format attribute that we offer here.
Right, okay, somewhere
actually,
in there.
No, I think it may just be a user attribute.
There it is, okay, yeah.
So you have to set this in, and Google will know to pick this up and use their geocoding engine to geocode it.
Okay.
And also a neat thing that I just was curious, we've had some questions about Japanese addresses. So I've actually set up an address in Japanese characters, so I can just show it quickly here. So this is this is a Japanese address. It's a little bit scary for us, but we'll see what happens
because
here.
I don't know. Okay, so we're going to send some Japanese data up there.
All right, so I'm just going to run this in here.
I'm not sure. Is anybody from Japan tuned in today?
Yes, do we have anyone? It's a little early for them, I think.
Ooh, well, it would be either that or late. It might be
or it
midnight.
might be late. If you're a night owl in Japan, you might be able to catch this.
I suspect they'll be watching on tape delay.
All right, so let's go back to my data source set and partner locations. So let's see. I think
didn't quite get its preview yet.
I think the preview in geocoding, unfortunately, we don't have a preview yet.
What's going to happen?
All right, let's see. Click in there. Oh, good. We see some addresses.
Woo.
And so we've got some data in there. And again, this is the test sales all over the world here.
Let's click on that Japanese one.
Let's take a look.
I'm really tempted to wonder.
And look, there we go. That's the one that we wrote in there. It doesn't have other attributes because I didn't set them up, but just showing you can geocode a Japanese address in full Japanese characters.
Yes.
So really exciting feature there.
Yes.
So yep, and we've got some other ones that I've set up. These are the ones from Salesforce here, of course, have much more information.
Right. They have a full bunch of data. Got somebody in the UK. Wow.
Somebody from France is excited.
Do we have what is it called? Ecrit or something?
Unfortunately, I don't see anything in there, but I think we're pretty safe. If the Japanese works, I think we can support the French characters.
Anything. Okay.
All right.
So that was
the
geocoding.
So again, geocoding is a great feature.
And reading from Salesforce, showing that FME, we don't just read and write sort of old-fashioned CAD files. Of course, we do that. That's a big part of it. But we can read fancy pants things like Salesforce.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So I'll just launch in here.
What else do we have?
So I think for demo 3 here, let's see what I've got. I'm just going to open up my FME. And let's start out. Oh, there's my mouse. And let me see what we've got in store for demo number 4.
We're already in number 4. Rasterizing.
This is a fun one.
Okay.
So
I have never seen this work, actually.
Actually, I don't know what happened here. I think somebody may have tinkered. I had this workspace here. I don't know what's going on.
There's a Mapnik rasterizer, so there's some sort of mystery invader going in.
There's a mystery invader. I don't know what happened there.
Okay.
But hopefully this will still work. So the idea here, if you were on the world tour, this will be a familiar demo.
Yes.
And what we've done here is we've got some building footprint data from the city of Vancouver, and we've taken this, and there's actually this new Mapnik rasterizer, really cool transformer that allows you to take vector data and rasterize it with some really cool effects and styling.
Right.
So what we're going to do is we're going to style these building footprints using the Mapnik's building style, which creates this kind of pseudo 3D effect.
Right.
And as long as you have a polygon with an elevation. Unfortunately, there wasn't any elevation in this data set, so we're using a random number to kind of create a
fake elevation.
A fake elevation. So we're creating a fake elevation, and we're going to use this to create this neat building raster. And hopefully this is still working here. I don't know who's come in and tinkered.
I bet it was Stephanie.
I don't know.
I know she was working on this stuff late last night. Now, of course, if you had real ortho photos or that sort of thing, you could be doing that.
Yes.
But we'll just...
Let's see. I'm sending to the inspector as well as sending to Maps Engine.
Okay.
We've sent in that data. Let me just go into the browser here.
All right. So a little bit nervous.
Okay. So let's take... It seems like it's still loading here.
There's your...
Refresh here.
Would you expect a preview?
I would expect a preview.
Whoa.
We're reloading.
Thinking. All right.
Let's take a look.
Did we finish loading?
Finished. Oh, it's still running, so let's give it some
You're being
time.
too impatient.
I'm being impatient.
All right. So we're loading up. Okay, it's making a JPEG 2000.
Yes.
And it is pushing that up there.
Oh, we can see.
There we go.
And we could see it had created that table, so now I bet if I refresh, I will see something in here. Oh,
ooh. And
what is this? Okay, again, I don't know. It looks like the FME lizard has gone in here and used this as a cheap publicity
opportunity. It was Mark Ireland.
Yeah, so there you go. So that's how you can write a raster to Google Maps Engine. And of course, as Dale mentioned, you can write much more serious rasters, such as your orthophoto imagery, even historic maps. I think there have been some historic National Geographic maps uploaded.
And you're not obligated to put that in, although,
no.
you know, I actually uploaded some photos to Google Plus on April 1st.
Yes.
And David Hasselhoff is all over inside of them. And that's sort of, I've been photobombed by him. I'd rather be photobombed by the FME lizard.
Yes.
But anyway. So that gives you a bit of an idea. Again, power of FME, in that case, we're making an interesting raster out of other things. But of course, if you had rasters, your workflow would be even simpler.
Yes.
All right.
So that would just be a direct write. And yep, and again, you can have fun with the Mapnik Rasterizer Transformer.
There's actually a webinar on Mapnik.
There is one on that, yeah.
A couple weeks from now.
Coming up in May.
And a contest that you could win fabulous prizes.
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely worth checking out.
Now what are we doing?
Oh, we're up to syncing.
All right, because a lot of people will be using Google Maps Engine to reflect something that's in their own environment that they would like to keep up to date with.
Yes. So I've kind of created an example, which is something that we see commonly with a lot of municipalities, is they like to create web forms for people to submit things such as complaints or other things, submit information via web form. So I've just kind of threw together this little web app here. It's a little bit canned, but it allows a user to go to this web page and file a complaint of various types here. So I could file a littering complaint somewhere in Austin here. Let's pick some place noticeable so we know where to look for it. How about in maybe in this middle of this wildlife refuge, I'll file a littering complaint.
Littering.
Yeah, so I can enter my email here. This won't be my real email, but that's okay.
Okay.
And I'll submit this in.
Okay. Now what are you doing?
Oh, so now this is going to get sent in. This is actually powered by FME server. Okay, and it's prompting me to log in. I should have set this up so I didn't need to log in. But, oh, that was the wrong one.
The monkeys.
That was okay, let me try that again. Let me go back in here. Let me go back to that again. I think it's because I wasn't authenticated here. So I'm just going to redo that guy. And I'll resubmit another complaint. This time, just to know it. I'll do littering and I'll do...
I am concerned about monkeys being there.
Yes, that was my testing one, so...
Okay.
That's
so
a little relic there.
Now that you're authenticated...
Okay, now we should be good. Okay, so
littering went in.
So my complaint is this is actually powered by FME server in the background. Actually, FME server sitting on the cloud. So this is an FME cloud instance of server that's running. When I submit this web page, sends a request to FME server to run a workspace, and this FME server workspace is actually writing to a database in the cloud. It's a Postgres PostGIS database actually in the cloud. So I'm writing to this cloud PostGIS database. And the idea here is that I want to sync up the data in this PostGIS database with my Maps Engine table. So what I would open up here is actually this workspace here that I've set up that's going to sync up that PostGIS database. So my web form data that users submit is going into that PostGIS database.
The complaints.
The complaints that they submit are in the cloud, sitting in this PostGIS database. I want to sync them up with my Maps Engine table. So what I'm doing here is I'm reading both the data from my PostGIS table and my Maps Engine table at the same time, and then I'm going to compare them and find new features that have been added or deleted. And it's pretty simple to do this. So we've got this change detector transformer, which allows me to compare both attributes and geometries.
Right.
So I'm comparing the values there. And note, before I do this comparison, I'm just ensuring that my coordinates are of the same precision, because sometimes funny things can happen with rounding and coordinates.
When you go into Google Maps Engine, may not necessarily preserve the full precision.
Yes, or other formats as well. So I just to be safe, I just chop them off at 8, and that's still quite a bit. So you've still got quite a bit of precision there. Then I'm going to look for the changes, and we should find that I have a few new points in there that I just wrote that weren't in there before. Well, wait, it's doing some comparison, reading in my data.
Let's just zoom it up while people are waiting.
And okay, we see there are 4 new features. So I must have I think I submitted 2 testing this before I ran it. Let's now take a look at, I should have showed you the Maps Engine table before, but we should see now if I'm in my complaints data set, I think it was in that park. Let me just refresh this. We should see now that complaint that I sent in. And the idea would be that this wouldn't be something that you manually hit run. The idea would be that you would further then schedule the syncing workspace on FME server so that this would run at regular intervals, say every minute or every 5 minutes, and pick up any new changes and sync them up into GME.
Right.
So I might actually just go, having a bit of a delay here.
There we go.
All right, just got to be patient. And let's zoom out here and see if we can find that point. I think this was the park that I wrote into. Do you remember, Dale? I think this looks right. So there we go. This is the littering complaint that I just filed, and this was iris@email.com. So this, and again, the idea would be probably not that you hit run manually like I just did, but that you schedule this up to on the server using the scheduling interface.
Can we go off script? Can we go back to that workspace?
Yes.
And if you hit run again.
Let's hit run. Well, I need to put in a new point.
No, I want
to show that it
doesn't. It's going to do nothing.
Okay.
So let's
yes,
just go ahead and, if all's working, the GME database matches your post.
Yes,
just
so it should
one.
be masked.
So we're going to read the stuff, we're going to compare it, we're going to slice it and dice it, and I would expect.
Yep, exactly. So we've got 41 features, and they're all the same between the two.
Yeah, so nothing
has changed.
Good. Well, that's a good relief.
Yeah.
All right.
That's good. So no one's been tinkering.
And so it's a variation of this that the syncing that the city of Edmonton is doing is based on.
Yes.
And actually, if you look at our SAFE blog, if you go to blog.safe.com, you can read a story that will describe in more detail how this kind of synchronization works. In fact, there's even a 1-minute video going through the details of what Iris set up there.
Yes.
So you can go look at that, blog.safe.com.
Yeah.
All right. So are we down to the last couple demos?
Weird. I think we have got just 2 left. And now we're going to be introducing the very exciting new Maps Engine layer styler.
Never been seen before
Yes.
by anybody, including me.
So I have to make sure that I'm in the latest build because this is a very new feature. So I don't want to open this up in an old build. All right, that's good.
In a 2015 beta.
Yes.
So for those that don't know Safe Software, we release our product annually, always in January, but we make our betas for our next one available all year long. We have a continuous beta cycle. So let's zoom that in. Okay, so we're reading the famous parks, and then you're setting some styles.
So this is an example of this styler. So let's just go in there and show you the kind of things you can do. Here we have you're able to set up styling rules.
Which you named appropriately Q and F.
Yes.
Okay.
Very creative. And so here we see you can actually style based on zoom level. So I'm not setting any, you can also set up attribute-based rules, which I'll show in the next demo.
Yeah.
But here I'm really just styling on zoom level. So you can set different display properties for your layer based on how zoomed in the map is. So this
you're setting a fill.
Yes, I'm just setting a color. So this is polygon data, and I'm just going to set it a different color when it's zoomed in. From levels 0 to 13 as compared to when it's zoomed in from levels 15 to 19. And so it'll be pink when we're zoomed out and green when we're zoomed in. And I'll just,
okay.
And
so that's just one of the many styling things. The styling stuff is quite new even on the Google side.
Yes,
so
very new feature.
You can actually run this?
Yeah, let's do. I'm going to cross my fingers and run it. And so what our writer is actually doing, in addition to creating a data source like all the other examples we've shown, this is now also going to create a layer in Maps Engine that is associated with this data source.
Right. Now I know some folks may say they have styling already in other applications. Sadly, we don't have a way to automatically populate the styling. We can do a few things like maybe set the color, but not the fancy kind of styling we have here. So is that it right there?
So it's written in as a data source, but that's not where we want to look.
Oh.
What's really interesting is that we've created this layer here, this zoom layer, and let's take a look at that.
Did you name that somewhere?
I did. Oh, I did name that. I should have shown that. I'll show you where you can set that up. You set up a name for your layer, so I've called it zoom layer. I could have also entered a description and set up some tags for it as well.
Cool.
So now I think that thumbnail hasn't come through, but we should take a look here. Okay, so we see that we're green.
Okay, so what are we expecting to happen?
I think it should turn pink as we zoom out. Or maybe when we zoom, maybe I'm zoom. Yeah, I've got my zoom levels backwards here.
So where is it?
Oh, there we go. Now it turned pink. So
there it is.
We're zoomed in, and now if I zoom back out, it'll be green.
Okay, just hold it for the. Okay, wait.
There we go. So it's
So that's pink when we're in. Can you just go back out again?
Yes, I'll be a little bit slower here.
And now don't. Yeah, okay, now don't touch. And yes, okay.
Green when we're zoomed out.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Yes.
I haven't even seen, like I say, that's brand new for me. I wasn't in the office yesterday to watch it being born.
Yes.
So well done, Carson, for getting that done. It's
Shout
called
out
just-in-time development.
Yes, exactly. So
All right.
Great.
So now we must
great
have.
Team here.
Do you have one more demo or two?
I've got just one more, I think, also on this styler. Got another example of how you can style based on attribute values.
Ooh.
So let me open that up.
So in this case, you're reading some more complicated.
So here's kind of a more complicated example. I'm reading two data sets, doing a comparison to figure out which neighborhoods have police stations nearby, and then I'm going to style them appropriately. And this is Vancouver data, but the police stations are fake, so don't worry if you think your local police station has been closed. That's probably not the case. So here I am styling it up in Maps Engine. I've set up two rules here, and so I'm setting up, is there a police station? I've got this attribute stored for whether there is a police station.
Right, and the spatial filter made that for you.
Yes,
basically.
exactly. And if there is one, the value is yes, and I'm going to turn it blue.
To represent police.
And then if not, I'm going to change it to red to represent low police station area.
Right, so this is a filter not on zoom level. And of course you can combine these filters every which way. It looks like those rules can be the same name.
Yes, it does.
You went for a Canadian name?
That's probably not the best way to set them up. Yeah, the naming here could use a bit of work.
If you were in America, you'd say, huh.
So for your production work, you'd probably want to name your layers a bit better than I have here.
Okay.
But I'm going to run this in here. I think the actual layer I've named is neighborhoods. So and then I've also set
right. Okay. The rules. Right. Okay. You did do that, but the rules you kept.
The rules I kind of.
The name seems to be somewhat optional, or you can get away with a very. You
can get away with some pretty poor choices.
All right. So it looks like it's done.
All right. So I've got a new layer, and this is the one that I just wrote in. And again, the preview doesn't seem to work, but we'll go in here.
I think it might take a while to generate that.
Okay.
Whoa, okay.
There we go. So these neighborhoods have police. Again, not actually true.
Fake police.
So
iris police.
Yes.
So if you zoom out a little bit, yeah, okay, those are the neighborhoods you kind of were working with.
Yes.
And right. So that shows, how you can start to combine the power of FME's ability to make decisions based on location and on attributes, feed that in to GME, Google Maps Engine, and then get it to do this. And the reason, of course, you can do all this styling interactively using Google Maps Engine, but the reason to cook it into the workspace is, again, that automatability.
Yes.
So you can set that up, run it, and it'll just keep going. Well, I think we should declare victory and move to our closing slides. Thanks so much, Iris, for that quite impressive set of demos, which I know you basically had no time to prep.
Yep. It was a lot of fun, though, actually. You can do quite a bit with this now.
Yes. So if you like the kind of thing you saw today, you can tune in again when we're looking at different topics. FME is a bit of a Swiss Army knife and can do a variety of things. So real-time data, that's one thing we're going to be talking about on, I think it's the end of April.
Yes.
May the 7th is that exciting MapNIC one where we can style things up and looks like you can photobomb with lizards.
Yes, you can do all kinds of fun things. And Dimitri has even crazier examples than I have. So stay tuned.
So
that'll be a lot of fun.
You can come and see. And then, of course, if you want to come see us in person on June 10th to 13th, we're having our first international gathering of FME users here in Vancouver, the first one in 5 years' time.
Yeah.
So, and already it's a lot of people showing up. So it should be a really good time to learn all things FME. And the 4th day is all training. All training all day long. And I think 80% of the more than 200 are staying for the training, so it should be a lot of fun there too, and a lot of learning.
Yes.
All right. What else?
All right. Oh, free training.
Yes. We do need to say that, wow, it started yesterday, so that's a little bit too late.
A little bit too late.
But there'll be one next month. So we make available all our training free. What that means is we do a broadcast from the room next door, which is why that room was busy this morning.
It's going on right now.
And you go to safe.com and look under training and education, and it's free. You don't even have to be a customer. We'll give you an Amazon machine with FME on it during the course. Have you ever done a training course, like broadcast one?
I think I have. You mean attended?
No, the other way around.
I've helped out with the questions.
You've been a helper, but never an instructor. There's been a few of us at SAFE that have.
Yeah.
Anyway, feel free to join in. Again, free for anybody, and just go ahead and check that out. So what else do we have?
Q&A.
Well,
so yeah, now
we got a couple. We got 5 minutes. Sometimes we put the camera back on, and I wonder if Stephanie. So there's a button here somewhere where you can raise your hands if you want to ask us questions. And let's put the webcam on so you can see Iris and I sweating while we're there. We go.
All right.
All right. So yeah, there's that raise the hand, and then I think let's see, how do we sort by that? If anybody wants to, oh, Jeff Johnson's asking something.
Yeah.
So Stephanie, are you able to make Jeff? Oh, we got a few. So we got 2 Jeff Johnsons. That's really going to be interesting. So let's try. How do we make Jeff able to talk to us? Let's see. Is Jeff able to?
Oh, he says he doesn't have a microphone.
Okay, so, but he can type his question. So Jeff, if you type your question, we'll answer it right now.
Okay.
That's Jeff with a J. We'll get to Jeff with a G in just a moment. So we're standing by to see that. How do I get a Google Maps account?
So I think if you go, there's a page. I think we've got
There's a sign up.
There's a sign up page. I think it's on our GME page at Safe.
Yeah.
So that link should be.
Let's see. If you search for.
Or I think you'd probably be pretty safe here. Dale's.
I'm just going to try it out and see if I can find a Maps Engine. Somewhere here. I don't know. You know what? I don't know how you get it, but there's got to be a sign up. Now, I think when you authenticate, do we give you a link? No, we don't.
I'm not sure we do.
That's a great question. How do they get one? That's a Google question, really. If there's any Googlers online, please tell us.
Oh, we've got, I think, let's see.
Free sign up with a Google account.
Go to this link. Okay, so we've got a link chatted here.
So can we send that to everybody? So let's copy that link.
Copy, yeah.
How do you do that?
Let me see. Oh, I can select it. So I got it, and now I'm going to send it to everybody here. Thank you for helping us out. That was Chris helping us out.
Send it to the entire organization.
All right, I'm going to send this link out from Chris here.
And if you click on that, let's just try it.
Let's just try it live here. All right, so yep, here's the Google Maps Gallery participant form.
That's for the Maps Gallery.
Yeah.
The Maps Engine would be something, again, a little bit different. So I'm not sure if anybody has a Maps Engine sign up as well. Maybe Paul does. Oh, well, some of these, and some people say they can do it from their Gmail account. Maybe that link there.
Okay.
Paul's?
That's a question. So.
Okay, Jeff says he uses Gmail account and he's in business. So let's go to try the other Jeff Johnson. Stephanie, are you able to, or maybe I can unmute them? Yeah, so Jeff, go ahead. I think if you start speaking, if you have a mic, we should hear you. Oh, maybe Jeff, the other Jeff may have to go for typing as well. Let's see. Other Jeff is not able to ask us his question, but he can go ahead and type it.
Oh, okay. I think we've got another link here.
Yes.
So Maps Engine, okay. So we've got someone again. Thanks, David, for sharing this.
Yep. So.
We'll send a link out. I'm going to send out a new link. This is for, I think, regular Maps Engine. So I'm going to send that new link out there.
The Jeff Johnson with the J says there's thousands of people named just Jeff Johnson, and they're all online today. So do we have any other hands raised? No, let's see. Many people that seem to know now how to do the Maps Engine stuff and get signed up. You have to always make a project as well. They said, somebody asked about our PostGIS database in the cloud. If you go to fmecloud.com, well, there's two things, actually. fmecloud.com, if you end up subscribing to our FME server service there, you get a Google Maps, or sorry, a PostGIS database as part of that.
Yes.
However, if you want to go PostGIS by the hour, you can also do something called RDS. So let's bring your browser up just for a second.
All right.
And search for Amazon space RDS space blog.safe.com, because Don wrote a nice blog about this.
Yes.
Yeah, there it goes. So if you want to know all about that, that's another way you can very cheaply get a PostGIS in the cloud.
Yeah.
And we've done lots of demos with that. It's kind of handy too.
Yeah, it's great to work with in the cloud. No opening up firewall ports or anything like that.
Someone asked if they could sync between Google Maps Engine and Small World, and absolutely you could. We have Small World readers and writers inside FME that could be used. We also work closely with Spatial Business Systems, a company out of Denver that are Small World experts that would be very well positioned to help someone set that up look up spatial business systems if you want that. And are we out of time? It is out of time. So you know what? We should just bid adieu to everybody. We can hang around a little bit longer and answer a few more questions. But if you have to leave, thanks so much for tuning in today. We know we presented a lot of information in a hurry. You can review this later. These examples that Iris did will all be made available. You can download a free FME trial. If you're new to us, the links provided will get you onto Google Maps Engine. There's free trials for that. You can get the free training. You can't join the class that's underway now.
Too late for that one,
but within a month, there'll be another session for sure. So go to that site and tune into a future webinar as well, safe.com, browse around there. But just in closing, thanks so much, Iris, for putting together all these demos in basically no time since you're back from the World Tour. It's very impressive to see what the team has done. We're very excited with every new endpoint that comes to the FME family. We're always pleased to try to do our best to support it in the most full way possible. Our goal being to allow all of you to take away the pain out of using any endpoint, any source of data, any destination for data. Our goal is to squeeze the time that it takes you down to nearly nothing to make that data move so that you can get on with the real work that you need to do. And that's why we do what we do at SAFE. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye. This is Dale signing off for this part.
And thanks everyone for tuning in, and let us know if you have questions.